Good morning and welcome to another episode of A Migrant's Journey. This is episode number 40. We have had 39 amazing stories so far, tons of advices and tips into in in life of a migrant immediately after you migrate into a country like Australia. If you haven't watched any of this, please head on to my YouTube channel, subscribe the channel, and you have different playlists over there which you can binge on. That's almost, I think, 20 hours worth of content, which is golden advice for anyone who is looking to migrate or anyone who is here new in Australia and looking for a job or looking to settle. If you're new to this, a migrant journey is set up, to give you a real life picture of what happens here after migration. Usually, when it comes to migration, people think, hey, it's a dream come true. You have to just move and things just happen. Even if you're an international student, just come here and things will happen. But often that's not the case. The initial months and the initial adapting is usually a struggle, and it's mostly because difference in culture, expectations, and various other factors. So these videos will kind of prep you up to make sure that you are doing the right things and give you a reality check. Yes, there are some people who come here within a day, they get a job, but that's probably 1% of reality. You have to take a look at what happens otherwise as well. If you're watching this live on LinkedIn or YouTube, please say hi, hello, good morning. The more noise you make, more social media platforms like LinkedIn and YouTube will promote my video, and the more happy it will make me, and the more people it will help. So please do that as well. Today, I have a special guest with me. I have Sharan with me. I mean, this is a very different story compared to the usual international student stories that I do. We'll get straight to it, and let's hear it from Sharan itself. Good morning, Sharan. How are you today?
Good morning. I'm good, Vinesh. Having a good morning, productive morning. Started at about 6 o'clock, but excited for this talk show.
Awesome, thanks. So let's get straight into things. Who are you, Sharan, and what do you do?
Sure. So I am Sharan Velayudan. I'm from Sri Lanka. I've been in Sri Lanka for about 25 years, all of my life, pretty much. And then I moved to Melbourne in 2018 June to pursue a master's. And I just completed my master's about 2-3 months ago. Yeah, 2 months ago, I think. I can't even remember anymore. But yeah, I completed my master's. And during my master's, I also became a TEDx speaker. I co-founded a sustainability project. And I shifted my content from food and travel to mental health advocacy because I personally struggled a lot during my stay in Australia. So I am also a mental health advocate, and I'm working on a mental health project as well.
Excellent. That sounds exciting. So did you graduate virtually, or was it
Yeah, so
graduation ceremony?
basically, so for people who don't know, so my profession is in content marketing. So I did a Master of Commerce marketing, majoring in marketing. So I did graduate in absentia. So I think they're going to have like a little graduation ceremony or whatever it is in November. But I do get to graduate physically in 2021 because I said I want to. Because I want to get that scroll. I want my mom to be there. So I definitely want to do it.
Absolutely. I think that's one thing that most recent graduates are missing, the graduation ceremony and the fun that you have towards the end of graduation. So it's an unfortunate situation we are in. So let's get to the beginning. I'm sure there are a lot of things to pick from your story, but let's get to the beginning, Sharan. Before migrating to Australia, when you decided, hey, I'm moving to Australia for your master's, what sort of preparation did you do, or what sort of research did you do, and what was your prep before you came here?
Yeah, great question. So quick backstory. I have a single mom, and finances aren't the best. It's like I'm sure a lot of international students spend a lot of money, and you and I are pretty fortunate and privileged to come to a country like Australia and study and have the money to do so. So my research was quite extensive. I made sure I did a lot of research. So some of the things that I did was I went for 2 career fairs in Sri Lanka and spoke to the university representatives. It was important to me to actually get an understanding of what the universities are in studies and outside studies as well. On top of that, I also did my own research online. I searched for reviews which were quite outdated, but I checked as much as possible, like what would suit me the best as to what I wanted. So I wanted industry experience, like industry specific studies and experience. So I got into four universities. I got into Swinburne, Deakin, RMIT, and University of Melbourne. So out of the four that I got into, then I had to make a choice. Okay, which is more specific and catered towards the learning that I needed. So since I had already worked for about 3.5 years in different aspects of business in Sri Lanka, since I wanted industry knowledge and experience in the content marketing field and marketing field in general, I chose RMIT. So in my research, RMIT showed that it was the best in terms of very practical ways of teaching. It's not extremely academical, and where it is academical, it will match it to what companies do in real life. So that was very important to me. So I would say career fairs, and then I did my own research, and then I finally went to an education provider, or like a facilitator, where they link you between the university. They help you with the documentation processes, the visa process, all of those things. So I went through them. Obviously, it was free of charge as well, so they get paid by the university. So I went through them just to make my life a bit easier and just to make sure I do everything properly. And then after I got my visa, I flew out a month after.
Awesome. So I think you are very meticulous in the way you research, and I like that you had clear goals, as in this is what I want,
Yeah.
and this is. I mean, some people just do it. Hey, I want to go to Australia. I want to study something. That was not your case, and you clearly had this picture and chose the right university as well. So that was
Yeah.
really good to hear.
And I
Now,
think just to add to that, sorry, to
no,
just
no
add to
worries.
that, I think when there is a risk factor to it, and when there's so much
Yeah,
money going into it, you're more on your toes, right? And I think with a lot of things in life, you have to be a bit meticulous in like making your decisions, because just think about it in the fact that you might have $7 in your pocket, and how best are you going to spend that $7?
yeah.
Because I'm a very minimalist person in general, so I'm very careful with how I make decisions.
Yeah, absolutely. Good point there. Now, how was your life, or the first few weeks or months after you moved to Australia? I'm sure you researched quite a bit on the culture as well, how things work here, how the Mikey works, and things like that. But how was reality like? How was the first few weeks and months like?
I'll be honest, I didn't do any of that research.
Or you
I
were really focused on your
as
studies.
soon as I came to Australia, why are there trains on the road? This is so confusing. I was shocked. I did so much research on the university I was going to. I did not do any research on the city I was going to live in. I didn't know about a Mikey. I didn't know how trains operated, trams operated. I didn't know that Ubers were so damn expensive. I didn't know any of these things. I was in a relationship at the time, so luckily she had been there for about 4 or 5 months before as
Oh,
well.
okay, that's
So
good.
like she guided me through it, but I was in shock, but like in good shock though. Like I was exploring a lot because I had come about 3.5 weeks earlier than university started, just as a break from work, and I could use it as like a holiday. And I was just exploring Melbourne for the first few weeks, to be honest. I was just going around, getting myself accustomed, got my laptop, made sure that I was all ready for uni, but also like enjoyed a bit as well.
Awesome.
So again, lucky and privileged to do that. But yeah, for first 3 weeks was just learning about Melbourne and learning about how amazingly expensive it is.
Yeah, especially I think the initial days when you do the currency conversion and stuff, it's like, oh shit,
Dude,
this doesn't look
I'm
right.
still converting, man. I'm still converting in my head. Every time I
Yeah.
see $10, okay, in Sri Lankan rupees, that's 1,400 rupees. Okay, fine, cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Good that you came in early, especially 3.5 weeks early. So rather than just barging into university, you had the time to explore, and you had someone here who could kind of, you could tag along to explore. So that was good as well. So how was uni like? Again, the university works completely different over here. The education system works completely different over here. So what was your initial experience? Did you like it? Did you not like? I'm sure you loved it in the end, but I'm sure it was it was a big shock in terms of the way it works. So what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think it was a bit of a learning curve because Look, I'll give you a bit of backstory, right? So, like,
Yeah.
I always wanted to study abroad, but I never had the finances to do it. Undergrad, I did it in Sri Lanka, and two of my best friends to this day, for like 20 years at this point, they went to the US and studied and came back. So every
Hmm.
time they would come back, they would be more culturally aware, they would be more
Yeah.
intelligent, they'd be more independent. And I was, ever since I kept seeing them come back and spending time with them, I would always want to study abroad. So the only reason I got to do my master's was my first semester was paid by one of my family members.
Hmm.
So that's the only reason I got to even come. So when I came, and since I've understood how undergrad works, and now I'm going through the whole master's thing, it's a complete dynamical shift.
Yeah.
Because the lecturers are so much more giving and so much more industry specific. It's a lot more fun. There's so much things to do. There's so many societies you can join, and it was overwhelming. That's for sure. Like getting used to the systems and getting used
Yeah.
to like how to timetable your subjects in and making sure that your courses are paid properly. Everything has to be done by you, right? Because
Yeah.
back home you're kind of like spoon fed in Sri Lanka, so everything is like handled and they tell you exactly what to do and stuff. Universities here, they try their best to tell you what to do, but because of the surge of students, it's quite difficult to like make sure that every single person understands exactly what they're supposed to do.
Yeah.
So I think university in general was just like the first semester I just studied. I didn't enroll in anything other than my courses, but that's because I was in a relationship as well. I was spending time with her, exploring Melbourne, stuff like that. So, but after we separated, that was when I had like a mindset shift. I was just like, Sharon, you have an opportunity that not a lot of people have. You can
Hmm.
either be demotivated and depressed that you have gone through this situation, or you can make something out of your life in Australia and in RMIT.
Yeah.
And that's when like I completely shifted. I started volunteering to a business ambassador. I became a student learning mentor because my results were so good from the first semester. I started going for network events, and we'll get to that stuff later. But so I started doing a lot more in university. So I think it's overwhelming, definitely.
Yeah.
I think because there's so much to do, but
Yeah.
once you get in the rhythm of things, and the biggest thing is you shouldn't be scared. You should just welcome it. You should just welcome all of these interesting opportunities, and slowly but surely just see what's out there. Like when we're scrolling through Instagram, we can just use that time to see, okay, what events are out there, what
Yeah.
opportunities are there in university, right? And I'm a major scroller. I'm massively addicted to Instagram. Not these days. I've been
Yeah.
off it for like 4 months now. But like instead of doing that, just check, because the thing is, 2 years will fly by, right? 2 years of a
Yeah.
master's, or 4 years of an undergrad, or 2 years of an undergrad, or whatever it may be, will fly by. So, like, make sure that when you're leaving, you're happy with everything you've done, right? So that's my philosophy for that.
That I absolutely love that because I think most international students forget the part that they have to enjoy this. I mean, they're so focused on here. I have to complete this course and get a job that they forget to enjoy the ride or enjoy the journey, and that's a very important part because if you welcome it. It is a wonderful journey. I mean, like everyone says, Australia is a land of opportunities, but you have to be in the right mindset for that, and that's very important. So that mindset is very important. Now, you are a mental health advocate as well. You talk a lot about that, and I think you did a TEDx talk on that as well. So, how did that come by? I mean, the reason I'm pointing this out is the situation we are in right now. We have to talk about it. There is no running away from it, even though everyone ignores and says there's no impact. So, what's your story? I mean, briefly. I'm not. I'm sure you have a lot to say, but what's your story on that?
So briefly, I would say, Vinesh, I used to do food and travel reviews a lot on my
Yeah.
Instagram, that's what I was known for as well. I was known for, as a very authentic blogger, and that's how I built my audience as well. And I was growing at a substantial rate. I've worked with so many brands at this point around food and travel, but when I went through that breakup, I'm not saying my mental health started because of a breakup. I think that's
So,
ridiculous.
was this before you came to Australia, or? After you came to Australia?
When I came to Australia.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I went through a breakup in November 2018. So I'd already been in my in Australia, but it was a my breakup was a catalyst for all of these other things that I'd gone through as a kid. I've been
Mm.
bullied. I've been made fun of for the color of my skin. I've gone through some bad things with my family. It's just all of these things that South Asians are so used to just
Yeah,
burying under the carpet and not really
yeah,
facing and looking at,
yeah.
and not really being self-aware of how that's making you feel. So in 2018, I was in a really bad state. I was depressed. I wouldn't eat. I would have panic attacks. So for those who don't know what a panic attack is, it's like a mini heart attack, pretty much.
Mm.
You lose feeling in your body. You feel faint. It's awful.
Yeah,
I had like panic attacks for like 7 days straight. So it was just really bad. So then I started seeing a therapist. So universities in Australia, most of them have free therapy. I don't know how good they are in most universities, but RMIT's was great. And I went for therapy. I started learning about myself, and I was just like, am I going to keep producing content that I don't really want to anymore, even though it's giving me income, even though it's giving me recognition? I don't care. Like
yeah,
if I need to help people, because what I realized was when I was starting to talk more about my mental health and how it's making me feel and how I went through certain depressive bouts, people were reaching out to me. It's like, oh my God, dude, you're talking about this. I'm so glad you're talking about it. Like more people need to talk about it. I was just like, wow, there's so many people who go through this in silence because South Asians are so good at going through it in silence. I was just like, I need to speak about this. And then I just shifted and I completely started talking about it. And then I just started talking about it more and more and more. And obviously that led me to doing a TEDx. And I just want to note, because you mentioned that now mental health has become like such an important topic. I would like to say that it does not have to take a pandemic to talk about mental health, right? It
absolutely.
everyone, just like they look after their physical health, should look after their emotional health as well and their mental health
Yeah,
as well, right?
yeah,
That doesn't mean you have to go for therapy.
yeah,
That means that you put aside certain times of your day to either meditate or self-reflect or read a book or self-care or whatever it may be in your life. Do it, right?
yeah,
You don't have to be a workaholic for 24/7 for the rest of the year.
yeah. Yeah, I think what you said, especially when it comes to South Asians, even the word therapy can be okay. Why this guy is going for therapy? There's something wrong, right? So it's
Oh
very
yeah,
important that we talk about it and that
yeah,
we say, it's very normal thing to do. It's not a big thing. I read some book, where I forgot who the author was, and she was saying, therapy should be compulsory for everyone. It's not optional, right? You have at any point of time, you have to have a therapist and you have to talk to people. So that's very important, and I'm glad that you're having a conversation around that, and you did that TEDx talk as well. So
yeah.
good on you
And
for that.
and
And
just like talking about it normalizes it. And if you see the most successful people making bunch of money, they see a therapist, right? They see a therapist or they
absolutely,
have someone to talk to about their emotions and how they're feeling, right?
yeah,
It doesn't, and as a man, it doesn't make you less of a man if you have emotion or if you want to cry or if you want to talk about something that feels really, really difficult. So I
absolutely.
think the more we talk about it, and Vinesh, I'm glad you brought it up as well, the more that platforms like this talk about it as well, the more we normalize the conversation.
Exactly. I mean, I'm glad that that conversation is happening as well. I'm glad that everyone is being open. I agree that the pandemic shouldn't have been a catalyst for that, but it's so obvious right now. People are ignoring it. People think, "Hey, I'm fine. I'll just grind through it." But take care of yourself. It's very important. Now, coming back to your journey, so you ended up founding a sustainability project, co-founding a sustainability project. You ended up working with Josh as a content strategist. So lots happened. How did you get into all these? And especially being an international student, they think, okay, I have to get a full permanent job, and it's so hard. There are visa restrictions. There are this. There are tons of obstacles. So what was your journey like, and how did you make all this happen?
Yeah, great question. I think whenever someone asks me like, oh, international students, they just come with the goal of getting a full-time job. Look, I don't have a full-time job right now, but I'm the happiest I've ever been, right? You have to ask yourself, what is success to you without happiness?
Hmm.
Because I'm reading a book right now, and it basically says this lady who's a senior in her position, she has 3 kids, the dad's a stay-at-home dad because they're making so much, she's making so much money, and she's unhappy.
Mm.
She just cried to the coach and said, "Look, I'm just unhappy. I don't know why. I just feel unhappy."
Is this high
I never want
performance
to be
habits?
that. Sorry.
Is this high performance habits by Brenda Mushat?
Yes.
Ah, okay, yeah, I read that
Yes.
too. That was a very interesting
So
story.
I'm getting through that slowly.
Yeah,
It's a tough read, but I'm getting through
yeah,
it. But basically, what I told myself was ever since the beginning of 2019, I'm going to do everything that makes me happy, right?
mm,
So the sustainability thing was when I did go back to Sri Lanka on holiday, I went on a mother-son trip. So I have a single mom back home. So I went
mm,
on a trip with her to Jaffna, which is the northern part of Sri Lanka. And it was a clean beach, and I just found like a ton of plastic bottles just lying around in like a little section at the beach. And I was just like, why is my beautiful country so dirty?
mm,
And that's when I realized it's the things you don't see. And then I worked. Then when I came back, I connected with Lauren. It was weird how we met, but we met through social media, and I had a chat with her, and I was just like, we need to do something. And we're both big geeks as well. So we love superheroes. I've grown up watching cartoons and
yeah,
Pokemon and Avengers and Justice League, and I'm just a big geek. So I was just
yeah,
like, why don't we just inspire people to be their own everyday superhero? And then we came up with the idea of cosplay cleanup, and I have no idea how we did it, but two full-time university students managed to get on Herald Sun, get on different articles, get a video team together, and go to three different countries and have four events in less than 3.5 months. And we collaborated with this amazing organization called Sea Shepherd in Melbourne. I have no idea. It's just the stars aligned, and then everything happened, and it was really good. And to be honest, right now we've taken a hiatus because Lauren has to go through her masters right now, and I'm at a different stage of my life. But the thing that we hope to do is inspire people to be everyday superheroes, and that can be as small as switching from plastic to reusable, or like making sure that whatever you have at home can be as sustainable friendly as possible. Those are little things that you can do as one individual, right? Because everyone has this question that goes, what can I do as one person?
mm,
You can do a hell of a lot. You just need to do your research and figure out what you can do as a person. So that was cosplay cleanup. So obviously then the bushfires happened,
yeah.
unfortunate situation, and then right after COVID happened, again an unfortunate situation. So we'll see where that takes us. But for now, at least the platform is there. What we've done is there, so it's just we can pick it up whenever we need to.
Yeah,
Um, then Josh
yeah.
Farr, what an incredible individual. So this was when I was going for at least three networking nights or events a week, at least
Mm,
three, right?
yeah.
I would go to Academy XI, I would go to General Assembly, and I would go for RMIT ones. Not in the aspect of selling myself. I didn't have a business to sell. I didn't have myself to sell. I just went to learn. I literally
Yeah.
just went to learn. That's all. And I met Josh at his Future Edge workshop. I waited till everybody left, and I had a chat with him at the end. Small chat. I told him I want to work in a mental health organization. What should I do? Snapped a picture with him, put it on LinkedIn. I said I met him, put it like a little spiel, and then he kept seeing my content, I think, on LinkedIn, and then he went with his gut and he gave me one of his clients to handle.
Awesome.
And I handled his clients, and it led to a lot of lead generation that led to a six-figure donation as well to that organization. And then from there, he was just like, then I pitched myself to him. I was just like, can I come? Like, let's do some stuff together. And then yeah, I had the privilege of working for him for like 8 months, and I learned so much from him. I learned so much from him. He is an incredible individual, and he's going to do amazing things. But yeah,
Oh,
long story short.
absolutely. I love what he does as well. And I absolutely love how you grabbed that opportunity. You just met him, you had a selfie, you started generating content, and then, that's brilliant. And that's how it should work. And I absolutely love that you, as an international student specifically, or even as a migrant, you have to define what happiness means to you. If just for the sake of social pressure, if you're just thinking, hey, I have to uh, pass my college with high marks and then I have to immediately get a job, it's going to be a tough ride, right? You don't need a full-time job to be happy. You can do tons of part-time work, freelance, or anything, and even founding things like that, just like Sharan did. It was a simple idea. He just transformed it, and look where he is at. So that's key. I understand, especially as South Asians, we are put under pressure with the education system. Hey, you have to be top of class, you have to do this, after this you have to get a job. There is a system, and that culture enforces us the system, but now you're in a different country and you can do different things. Embrace it, right? And I'm so happy that you are here today, Sharon, sharing your journey. And I'm sure what happened in those 8 months with Josh has considerably transformed you already with what you're doing today. So well done on that as well. So that's it was a wonderful journey, Sharon. Thank you so much for sharing that. It's like I said, it's a different journey compared to the international students that I usually interview. So you talk to, I mean, you know your friends as international students, and you talk to a lot of international students who are still struggling, struggling really bad. What would your advice for them be?
Um, with everything you said, Vinesh, I just want to add it takes hard work. Even
Yeah,
now, it does take hard work, right?
yeah,
You cannot just um, be happy and not work hard, right?
mm,
And expect things to come. Because as South Asians, at least for myself, I was, even though I had a single mom, she took care of me really well, right?
mm,
So, in a sense, even though we didn't have money, it felt like everything was just given to me,
yeah,
right? And that's not going to happen when you move to another country or when
yeah,
you're on your own or when you're trying to hustle and make a name for yourself. It is just simply not going to happen unless you put the work in, whether that's building a website from scratch or whether it's doing things like this amazing show like Vinesh does. Whatever it does, it takes hard work, right?
yeah,
You just see the live stream, but the work that goes behind it are hours and hours of planning,
yeah,
coordinating, creating everything, right?
yeah,
So I would say for international students who are struggling right now, work on your brand. You are
mm,
a brand just like KFC, McDonald's, all of these other brands are Xbox, Microsoft, all of these brands. You are a brand as well, right? You cannot expect people to give you a job when they can't identify you as an individual. And we have a free platform that we can do that. We can do it on LinkedIn. Super easy. You just have to identify what your why is. If you haven't heard what the Golden Circle by Simon Sinek, I would highly suggest you Google the Golden Circle by Simon Sinek and
mm,
find your why. And I will quote Josh Farr on this one. He always says, "If you don't ask, the answer is always no."
mm,
So before you ask the question, make sure that you've built your brand, whatever it may be. If you're IT, start blogging about IT on LinkedIn. Start being a thought leader on anything to do with IT or whatever specific, whether it's a specific language like Java or .NET or C Sharp or whatever it may be. Start talking about it. Start talking about the work that you've done. Freelance from here and there. Do a volunteer thing in your pastime. If you're struggling to do a job, do not go into that interview saying, "Oh, I was, just applying for jobs."
yeah,
Do not go into that interview saying you were just applying for jobs. Go into that interview saying that you did this, and you applied for this job.
yeah,
That will give you a better leg up than other people. Because I will tell you this now, as an international student, you come into Australia with a disadvantage, right? Everybody knows this. It's the truth, right?
mm,
So to at least lessen that gap of disadvantage between getting that job and being an international student, you need to up your game and you need to be confident in what you do, right? So obviously you'll have down times. You'll be depressed. You'll have times where you're just like, damn, nothing's working out. I had that today morning, like, damn, nothing's working out, right? But that will pass. Just remind yourself that you are better than this and you are deserving of this opportunity and put the work behind it. Believing it and putting the work behind it are two very different things, right? So you need to do it together.
absolutely. That's golden advice, Sharon. I couldn't agree more. Like you said, international students always have a set of obstacles. Believe it or not, there are a set of obstacles, but don't victimize yourself for that. Don't think, okay, I have tons of obstacles. I can't do it. The system is broken, blah, blah, blah. Don't do that. There are ways out of it, right? There are tons of ways out of it, and you can reduce the gap. And like he quoted Simon Sinek's golden circle. The why is important. You have to start with the why. But unfortunately, people sell the what today. I'm this, I'm this, I'm this. Give me a job. No, if an employer asks you in the interview, why do you want this job? You don't have an answer, right? You should have a solid answer, as in why. Does it match your values? Does it match your vision or whatever it is? You should have a solid answer for that, and that's really, really important. So thank you so much for sharing that, Sharon. So I think that's that for today. We had about 10 viewers on LinkedIn live watching us and 3 viewers on YouTube watching us, but I think because it was a morning, it was less. Usually it's more. So if you're watching this, please do leave a comment and make sure that more people see this. I'm sure there are tons of content, and I'd like to share a comment that Paros mentioned. How inspiring, so young yet so rich on achievements, and I absolutely agree on that. That's key, right? You are rich, even though you're not paying tons of money, you're still rich, and as an international student, and you've been just here 2 years, and you don't have a full-time job. Keep this in mind, right? You don't need a full-time job, or you don't have to be 30 plus or 40 plus to be rich. You can be that person right now, so that's key. So thank you so much, Sharon. So if people would like to get in touch with you for anything, what's the best way? Is it LinkedIn, or is it your website, or what's the best way?
Yeah, sure. I'd like to add one word, if that's one sentence, if
Yeah,
that's
yeah, go
okay.
for it, go for it.
So for the 10 people and 3 people, it's still 10 whole lives and 3 whole lives. So thank you for watching.
Absolutely.
And Vinesh, you're doing an incredible job, man. Thank you so much.
Thanks, man. Thank
I
you.
think this is really important for people as well. So I can't wait to share it as well. But I would like to just say that my mom is 52 years old. She got her master's when she was 50 years old because she
Wow,
finally got
awesome.
the income to do it, right?
Yeah,
It's never too late. It is
yeah,
never too late, right? You have to just ask yourself, yes, money is important. I'm not saying no. It is
yeah,
important to live, look after yourself, look after your family, look after your future husband, kids, whatever it may be. It's important. I'm not saying no. But always ask yourself, what does happiness mean to you, and how you can carve that into your life to make sure that you have a good balance, right? It's something I'm learning as well. I'm not saying no, but it's a process, and enjoy the process. At the end of the day, just have fun. Never be 40 or 50 years old and look back and be like, damn, I should have done that, right? Never be in that situation.
yeah,
Just do what makes you happy. Live the best life, but also be realistic with what you need to achieve and how you need to do it. And you
absolutely.
can find me. I have Instagram. I've been off Instagram for about 4 months now. I've been doing a social detox. But Instagram is my name, Sharan Velayudan. LinkedIn, same thing. And I have my website. If you guys want to reach out to me, you can reach out to me as well.
Yeah. That was a really good point. Like you mentioned, at 40, you don't want to look back and think what you've done. Let me make it a bit more realistic. After you graduate, don't look back and think, hey, this was a roller coaster ride, it was such a struggle. No, instead have a fun image, instead have a sense of achievement out of that, right? That's key, and that's very important. So with that, I'm saying goodbye. Have a good day, everyone. I'll come back with more episodes next week. Thank you so much, Sharon, for your time today, and thank you so much to all of you for watching live, or if you're watching replay. All right, then I'll have a good day, and bye bye.
So yeah.